everyone, today is September 6th of 2020. I'm Brittany of the Homesteading Hiker and Son of Soil Farm, and we're just going to do a quick walk around the farm and show you what we're planting for fall, what our summer crops are looking like, and just a general tour of our land. Okay, so we're in Garden 1. You'll see here to my right is our bed that we moved up against the fence. It used to be further over, but we wanted to be able to climb stuff up the fence. So we have some beans, some peas, and then some radishes that didn't germinate very well, but it's okay, we'll have enough. And we have another type of bean on the far edge of it that's really filling out the bed nicely. Then here on this side, we've just been planting radishes every week. We have a volunteer hibiscus here in the back, and a cowpea plant that is also a volunteer that's doing quite well. We had holy basil growing here that we've already cleared out, and we had planted some leeks, but they were shaded out by the holy basil, so they didn't do very well. Then we have one of our most successful crops of the year. We have mung beans, and we've probably gotten, how many pounds would you say? Like 3?
Like 2.5 ball jars full.
Yeah, and those are doing amazing. We have our favorite zinnias of the season back here. They're just gorgeous. So pretty. And we have a little trellis of tomatoes in the next bed. And then the beds back behind that really are empty and just need to get planted with fall crops, which we'll be doing in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and the far one has a bunch of asparagus.
The vole ate over half of the plants this year. We had 10 asparagus crowns last year, and the vole took out probably like 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also planted some dahlias in there that the vole ate. So.
Which are now in buckets over there.
Yes. All right, so that is garden. Oh, ooh, yeah, our Muscadine Grape, and we have a moonflower here. You can see it opened its first flower last night. And then we're just growing some late season cucumbers and more beans up this trellis here. And the grape is trying to take over the entire garden. So we put up some trellis here, so it'll go over to the house. We've also got it climbing both sides of our fence. And we're starting to get some ripening here, which is super exciting. All right, so coming into garden 2, we just have a few trees and pots here. We have a new plant, a Jostaberry, that's lost all its leaves. We're hoping it comes back stronger in the season. This is just our sorrel, and then there's some dahlias there, more dahlias in buckets, more dahlias here, random amaranth. We just put it in a new raised bed. Before we had a wide bed with all those strawberries in it that weren't producing. So we went ahead and ripped out all the strawberries. We put in this bed here. And in this tunnel we have a bunch of different bok choys planted. They're under agribon here to keep the cabbage caterpillars off them. And they're doing really well. They've been in the ground for about a week. And we just vent it during the day because it's still really hot here, so the plants don't get fried. What?
And we use...
Oh, we use 10 gauge wire, and we have a little thermometer.
These little thermometers we got. There's a little
sensor
device in our living room, and we got 3 of these, and it tells us the temperature of 3 different locations.
So we know when to vent the tunnels, which is super helpful. The bed next to it, we have some beans and then some lettuce that we transplanted in. In this bed we have some beets that you had just germinated, and then lots of weeds coming up as well, but we're staying on top of that.
The beets are starting to come up.
Yeah, some chard. And then this was a really cool plant that we grew for the first time this year. It's Mexican bush sunflowers, and the hummingbirds Oh, a hummingbird's right there. He just landed on the bush. The hummingbirds really love them. So did the butterflies and the bees. Do you see him?
No.
He's really tiny. But he's up there. He's probably about to come eat. And then we have a huckleberry here, which we're growing for the first time, which has been interesting. We haven't harvested yet. You harvest in the fall. Along the fence, we put up cattle panels and did some tomatoes. We just did another planting of peas 2 weeks behind the other one. So those are starting to pop up now. There's another cowpea in the distance, and then just our thyme plants that have been here for a few years. Okay, moving on to the next row. We're starting to take out this huge oregano plant here. And we moved it over into the herb garden. And we're just starting to hack that back so we can use this bed. This is another dahlia or zinnia variety we're growing this year. It's called desert cactus. It's really pretty. In this bed right here, we have 5 rows of carrots and then some lettuce that we did in soil blocks. That's doing well. This bed is still summer crops that are left over, plus some kale that we put in. And you can see why we're needing to use the agribon, because everything just gets destroyed by caterpillars this time of year. So this is, I guess, bait for the stupid caterpillars, and we'll just let those plants go. We have 2 tomatillo plants in here. It was our first season growing tomatillos, and we're in love. They're so yummy. We've made a lot, well, Richard has made a lot of salsa verde. 3 batches so far.
Very easy to make. Just
Yeah.
roast tomatillos and blend it up with all the other ingredients.
Is this more beets?
Yep, there's a whole
Alright.
bed of beets.
So Richard planted another bed of beets, and then this is a bed of chard that we transplanted.
These are looking good.
Ooh, show the caterpillars. Look at these little caterpillars on this poor fennel plant. If you poke them. Oh, he's not aggravated. They pop up a little antenna. And then we've been doing walking onions in the gutters here because we just have so many bulbs. We're seeing they'll size up at all or make some nice green onions for us. We have some leftover tomatoes from early in the season that are looking real sad.
Yeah, these were some Romas
Yeah.
that turned out really good actually.
Yeah.
This is probably the last of them.
Yeah. But we ate lots of tomatoes. Here's our original walking onion bed.
And strawberry bed that looks very crazy that we're gonna replant in October. We'll move the small guys into a new bed.
Yeah. And then this was our heirloom tomato bed next to the walking onions. We thought we were going to do a really good job at trellising them, but we learned that using this twine is not strong enough to hold up the plants. Next year we'll use wire, and that should do the trick.
And when the twine gets wet and dries, I think it
Yeah.
loosens up and doesn't work very well.
We have some avocado trees popping up from the compost, so I'm probably going to dig those up because it's hard to let a tree go to waste.
They're doing good here though.
Yeah. This is a bed that had
Basil.
It's full of basil. We just had downy mildew hit all of our plants, so we cut it all out. Minus this one's part of my breeding project, so I'm going to try and save some seed from it. Next to it here we have some chards that are starting to do better now that the weather's cooling. Then we have 2 rhubarbs in here. This one's looking pretty good. There's one more down here that's looking pretty sad. I don't know if that's normal, but I'm sure it will be fine. Then we have a nice hyssop. We just hacked down all these plants 2 days ago because you want to keep deadheading them so they keep producing more flowers, especially coming into fall. We want all of the bees and butterflies and other insects to get all the nectar and pollen they can before frost comes. We have another bed here that was basil. This is more of my breeding project. And it was Genevieve's on this side.
Yeah, the basil did really good for about 4 months, and we got a lot out of it.
Yeah. Here's our glorious castor bean which this is the first time we've ever grown it. We're smitten with it. We think it's so cool.
And they do not keep voles out, by the way. But they're really cool.
Yeah. We just planted some radishes here the other day. Here's our first planting of beets from several weeks ago. Some of them are doing okay. Some of them insects ate, so I just filled in those gaps with walking onions. Next to it's another bed of mung beans and then a few pepper plants. The last bed is catmint, rosemary, and chives. And that's just a good spot for pollinators. Catmint produces flowers all summer, so keeps the bugs happy. This is our last row in garden 2. We let some watermelon volunteers come up here. We also have a lot of wild catnip. There's walking onions. We have some peanuts growing for the first time over there. We also have comfrey and bee balm. There's a few cotton plants. Another cowpea right here that's produced a lot. What is it? Another baby watermelon. They're so cute. Then we have our first planting of carrots here, which we got a random few days of cool nights, so those germinated well. And then we have another succession of beans here. These are black turtle, and that's Whipple.
These are doing really good.
Yeah, they're doing really great. Okay, now we're in like the perennial and herb garden. We have our blueberries that are doing well. Our brown turkey fig has gone crazy this year. Last year it was like maybe knee high, and this thing has sprawled out. It has tons of unripe fruit on it. It's huge. We're not sure what to do at this point, but we're definitely gonna get some figs this year. That makes us so happy.
Trim your fruit trees and bushes.
Yeah.
It makes them produce a lot faster.
Oh yeah, we've been cutting the top, like we've been rooting big cuttings, and whenever you cut it, it just sends out more branches and shoots.
Everywhere where we trimmed it, shot off a little branch of multiple figs on each branch.
Yeah. And then talk about sprawl. Here we planted a butternut squash for the first time ever. And you can see it just took over this entire space. This is just one plant. So far we've gotten about 20 butternuts off it, and it's still producing more fruit. We made a new bed here. We have more dahlias and mullein and more zinnias. Then some really sad chamomile, which hopefully will start to do better as it cools down. We have more fig trees. We have an aronia berry there. A mugwort patch is doing well. We grew cucamelons up this fence line. They produced a lot, but now they're not really producing much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But we got a lot of cucamelons. We have some hollyhock here that will produce flowers next year for us. And then we have a row of a nice hyssop and a row of zinnias. We have some tomatoes tucked in here that are kind of...
The cucamelons took over.
Yeah. And there's a fig tree back there. We also have a new elderberry planted in there.
It's right there.
Yeah, there's horseradish, and there's a serviceberry, I think. I planted another new berry in there this year. We have our new bed of asparagus that's doing okay. Sage, another fig tree, a nice hyssop. Then we have our little lavender patch here.
Japan corner.
Yeah, these are all just like Asian greens. This is perilla. It's really shading everything out and keeping weeds out. And then there's a little pawpaw tree in here that it's been keeping in the shade. Okay, so now we're gonna come out of the fenced area over across the driveway to our new garden space. Here's our greenhouse, and we'll come to our new plot over here. We have lots of hibiscus plants all over the place. And then we have 5 new rows that we just started. And we'll sneak a peek inside one of them. So we have kale and radish in this one. And then in the other tunnels we have bok choy, cabbage,
Kind of
turnips. Yeah, maybe
cabbages.
you can see some cabbages tucked under there.
Right in there.
And then in the bed here in the middle, we have 2 different plantings of walking onions that are coming up. And behind us we have our blueberries that we put in this year. We have a big pile of wood chips, more hibiscus. This is the one that's furthest along. You can see the hibiscus pods right here. And it's flowering a lot. We have a watermelon that I planted and almost died several times, but it's now setting fruit. Then this is our new area we'll be setting up in the next couple weeks. We've solarized it all summer, and now we're starting to put down wood chips. And then we'll do 30-inch beds with compost. We have one more hibiscus, and then we have 2 cherry trees, and then Rose rugosa rose hips that are all doing quite well. We're doing more solarizing up to the driveway here. We have a few strong okra plants. We've just started harvesting from these last week. And basil, so here's what the downy mildew looks like. It's just like black fungus under the leaves. And it will just kill the entire plant. And the last area to mention is over there. We've solarized that all summer, minus a few milkweed plants poking up there in the center. We left those. And we're going to be wood chipping that over the fall as well. Okay, thanks for watching the video. That concludes today's farm tour. I hope you guys are growing fall gardens this year. See you next time.